Be renovated soon. How do you feel?
I was like really anxious earlier, but I'm excited. It's gonna be a labor of love.
Yeah.
All right.
My bad, we did that.
Oh, to check. I was like,
Yeah.
what happened? It was to check the insulation.
Yeah.
Okay.
See what was in the walls.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Everything looked good, just how you
Everything looks
expected it to
exactly
be.
how I expected it to be.
Some spike with it though, man.
Yeah, everything looks exactly how I thought it would look. And my new family, I might put that up.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's your family.
That's
now.
my family now. This is my house.
Yeah, some work to do. It's gonna be fun though.
Yeah. So this is gonna be my new home. The reason I picked this house is because of the neighborhood. There's a lot of work to be done, but like right when I saw it, it felt like home. So I get to turn it into my own thing, and I'm just excited. No, I'm excited.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So how did you, this is your first time buying a house?
This is my first time buying a house.
So how was you able to like see the vision with this being your first home? Sometimes it takes somebody 2 and 3 houses before they see the vision. This being your first home, how was you able to do that?
I think I just like things that are custom in general. Like I like custom clothes, I like custom bags. So I think to just try and think creatively and see the potential in somebody, I think that's already within me. So just getting to have my own custom home exactly how I want it is what drew me to that.
Heard it from the queen.
Yeah. So yeah, she's all mine.
It's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be amazing. Yeah, I'm excited.
Take it back to the beginning. What were you originally looking for in the home?
So originally I was looking for a single family home in DC. I was open to like a row home or a town home or an end unit, but I wanted to be in DC proper. And I was hoping for a suburban feel, but still close to the city. So that's originally what I was looking for, like already renovated, already updated. Didn't need any work at all.
Okay, so the neighborhood that you ended up purchasing in, was that the neighborhood that you were looking at?
I don't think I knew Hillcrest existed. Like, I feel like when people talk about Southeast, they're always talking about Anacostia, and they never bring up Hillcrest, so I honestly didn't really know it was there.
Hillcrest is still like a hidden gem to a lot of people. But more and more people are finding out it's a good thing you found out about it when you did and not 10 years later.
Yeah.
Right. Before this property, were you considering doing renovations?
Before this property, there was a different home I was considering renovations on. But like when I first initially started looking for a home, renovations were like strictly out of the table, like off the table. I wasn't considering it. I wasn't hoping for it, nothing. Yeah.
Okay, and then what made you feel comfortable with going that route?
I think after seeing renovated homes, those homes were at the top of my budget. And I just felt like even if I do want to change something, I want to change the tile, I want to change the flooring, there was no money left in the budget to be able to do that. And it also seemed like a waste of material to renovate something that was recently renovated. So once I started thinking about like the cost saving and getting to personalize my home the way I wanted to, that's what started to change my mind.
Nice. I don't know if this is even a question on it. Now that you know, or you have an expectation of what the house will look like when it's completed, if your house, once it's completed, hit the market, do you think you would have had a good chance of getting it if it was fully renovated the way that you're designing it?
I think the competition would have been steep, and I think I would have gone over budget.
You might,
For sure. Yeah. I've gone over my. So realistically, I don't know if I would have still been able to afford the house that I'm envisioning once it's all fixed up
Definitely.
in that area with that yard space,
With those updates
with
and
those updates.
all that fly stuff that you were about to put in the house.
Exactly.
When you first walked through the house, how did you know that that was the house for you? What was it about the house?
The first thing that made me think, okay, I can really live here was the backyard. I think it's one of a kind. It really feels like its own oasis. And then even just like the shape of the house, it's just basically one huge square. So I feel like however I want to customize it and personalize it, I can. So that was like the second thing. But the first thing was the backyard. I just didn't think I was going to find anything like that in DC, in my budget.
Definitely. Were there moments where you was like, man, maybe I shouldn't do this renovation?
I think the financing portion, like securing financing for a 203K loan, there's a lot of moving parts and there's a definite order of operation to the steps. Like the second step can't be done until the first step is absolutely complete. So trying to work with different, essentially vendors to get them to like quickly turn around what you need them to so that the next person can have it in hand and do their person so that they can pitch it off to the next person. So basically up until I got my clear to close, I was just like, this essentially could fall through because if the lender doesn't feel like the home is going to be worth the value that you're wanting to put into it, who knows?
How did you feel once you saw the appraised value or the after repair value to the appraiser?
The after repair value, I felt confident.
Okay.
Because I think sometimes if you have a dream, it's easy to see your own dream and it's easy to be confident in like what you think, and the people around you are always going to tell you like, oh, you got this, you're going to do good. But I think for an outsider to come in, very quickly see the neighborhood without ever probably having seen it and then assess its value made me think like, okay, I'm good.
That's him saying, this is a good deal.
Yeah, this is a good deal.
Right.
And really, I mean, to add to that, it wasn't just the appraiser, it was my loan officer, it was the structural engineer, it's the architect. It's like all these people who are coming to do their part in the home saying, well, I didn't realize that this was here. I think you found something that we didn't even know. Yeah, we found a gem. Yeah.
Definitely. Which part of the process surprised you the most?
I think the most surprising part of the process is the 203K consultant, because essentially that tells me as the home buyer that my investment is protected. Like things can't move forward until a second party comes in and says, okay, this is good quality work. Yeah, I think just having that confidence and knowing that there's somebody outside of the situation who is making sure that things are done a certain way. Right. So I didn't realize that that was an expectation with the 203K loan. Like I had no idea.
It's like an extra layer of security.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that and you hire a contractor, they could take the money and say that they did the work and it's not done correctly.
Yeah.
And the draws say too, so it's not like they get all the money in red iron. They get in phases.
Yeah.
So that helps you as well. In your opinion, who is the 203K loan best suited for?
I think the 203K loan is best suited for somebody who has expensive taste and is willing to put the work into getting exactly what they want.
Okay.
Because I think that part of the value is in the time that I'm going to spend making decisions and putting things together and waiting to actually move into the home for something custom. But at the end of it, the value is going to be high. So someone who's willing to make that trade-off.
Okay. What type of buyer would this process not work for?
I want to say a buyer like myself who's actually kind of like type A personality. But I think that this is going to push that side of me to just some things you have to let go and let time take care of.
You gotta trust the process.
You gotta trust the process, yeah. So that's something that I'm asking the universe to teach me. It kind of
You gonna learn today?
I'm gonna learn. We're here, I'm gonna learn. So I think if someone's not willing to let go of like some of that control of like trusting the process and understanding that you're gonna have some hiccups and they're just like, I wanna move in tomorrow, or someone who's on a very tight timeline and has no flexibility with that timeline, this is probably not for them.
Right. Okay. And do you think the time, I mean, obviously you think that the time that you have to wait and you have to go through and deal with contractors, structural engineers, all of those things is worth the value at the end of the day?
I think it's worth the value.
Would you have done it? So say after you do the repairs, what are you expecting your amount of equity you're gonna have in the property?
I think for it to be worth it for me, $100,000 to $150,000 in equity right off the bat.
Okay. And if you didn't get that, then it would be like you would probably just buy a house that was already ready to go.
If I didn't get that, I would still be okay with it, just because I like custom things.
Like custom,
I like things that I can like really say are my own and are like a little different or off the beaten path. So for me, even if it takes more time to build up that equity than it coming immediately, I still think for me, I think it's still worth it.
So that equity is just like the cherry on top for you. Would you recommend this to your friends, like this whole process? Would you recommend 2 or 3Ks or renovation loans to your friends?
I think in order to really answer that question, I have to get to the finish line. I have to see the end product, but I would. I think even probably just the risk taking aspect.
Yeah, you got to be ready to take the risk. Yeah,
there comes a certain point when like you have to be willing to take a big risk potentially for a big reward. I keep telling myself that up until this point, all of the decisions that I've made that were risky have resulted in a reward. So this shouldn't be
any different.
Any different.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Don't knock it out.
Thank you. We're gonna knock it out.
What's up, man? How you feeling?